Okay. Hello, August boot campers. So we wanted to have this call just so that we could touch base with you guys, introduce ourselves so that you know who we are. We can tell you a little bit of our story, what our journey has been so far for health and fitness, and basically the importance of the challenge group. And we want to share that with you guys by just sharing our own personal experience of what the challenge group has done for us in helping us reach our goals, grow as a person, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to start. We're all going to take like 5 to 8 minutes just to tell you our story. And then we're going to encourage you. We're recording the call. We're going to post it in the challenge group. And we're going to encourage you all to just share as well in the comments. If you're really brave, you can go live in the group and just kind of share what your journey's been so far and where you're at. But if you're feeling a little shy to do that yet, you can just share it in the comments. So, all right. So my name is Chrissy. I've been a Beachbody coach for 3 years, and my health and fitness journey started a long time ago. I've always been into working out. It's always been my outlet. So I'm I'm like a real wound up person. I'm a type A personality. I have a lot of just natural stress running through my body, good or bad. I'm the type of person that's like stressed in good times. I'm stressed in bad times. My natural reaction to things is stress. So exercise has always been my way to cope with that. So from the time I was like, I always played sports, but as far as fitness, like we do now, I'd say I started around 13 or 14. I started running, and I would go out for 3-mile runs several days a week. And then I think I was like 16 or so. I'm not exactly sure, but somewhere in my later teens, Tae Bo came out. Do you guys remember Tae Bo? And that was my first at-home fitness. So I dabbled too. Like I would run. My mom would go on and off of doing like step aerobics and stuff like that. So I would go with her and do step aerobics. I would do aerobics classes, but my first at-home fitness was Tae Bo. So as far back as I can remember, I've always worked out. Once I was in college, I was the person who every single night was like rallying through the dorm trying to get someone to go to the gym with me. Once I got out of school, I had a gym membership, and I was a gym rat. Like I was in the gym 1 to 2 hours a day, 4 to 6 days a week. And it was a non-negotiable. It was part of my life. And then I was pregnant with my first baby, and I worked out pretty much through that pregnancy. And then once I had her, I would go to the gym at night. So when my husband got home, I would go to the gym. We'd eat a late dinner. I really kept to that schedule. Once I had my second baby, not so easy. So that was the first time in my life that I actually had to really work to take weight off. I gained 50 pounds with him, and it didn't come off like it did the first time. The first baby kind of came off very easily, but with him, I lost like 15 pounds in the hospital, and then I had to really fight for the 35, especially the last 15. The last 15 pounds, I realized with those last 15 pounds, like I had a month or two where I was just kind of like doing what I always did and nothing was changing. And I had that moment where I was like, maybe this is just going to be my body now. Like I had the kids, and maybe this is just how it's going to be. So I had to fight to take that weight off, and I actually did Weight Watchers. I didn't join, but my friend was a member, so I like learned the program, and I ate. So I lost weight, but I didn't really learn how to eat. I ate, I learned how to cheat the Weight Watchers system and still eat my junk food. Definitely ate healthier, and I think Weight Watchers is actually an awesome program. I'm not bashing it, but I didn't learn, and I think it's different now with Weight Watchers, but I learned how to like eat a whole bag of popcorn at night, and I used to eat this like chocolate pudding with Cool Whip every day, so like I learned how to still eat some junk food and lose weight. Nothing wrong with that. But and then when I had my third baby, I didn't gain much with him. I was really like stressed, and I didn't eat as much like through my pregnancy. I just would go to bed at night. I'm a night eater, so I didn't gain as much. I only gained like 35 pounds. I took it off pretty easily. I had to fight maybe the last 5 pounds or so. But the thing with him was I was I got skinny but not fit. So I wasn't really working out. I was going to the gym here and there, maybe 2 days a week to run or whatever, but it was just, I had 3 kids under the age of 5. It was kind of crazy. So when I went to the gym, it just brought more stress into the house. So I would do what I could. But for the most part, I really wasn't taking care of myself. I was, skipping meals, skipping, never mind snacks. I was pretty much grazing and eating a lot of like my kids' leftover food, and then eating like a really big meal at night and another, I don't know, junk food or something. But I was pretty unhealthy. So, and I was really at a low point. I'm not going to talk all about that because that's kind of how I started my Beachbody business. But I was at, I just kept going down this hill of being like at this low, and not taking care of myself and not figuring out how to have 3 little kids and still be a person and, prioritize my health and my own wellness. So one day I was cleaning my house. I was like cleaning incessantly every single day. And I was cleaning my house and I came across this box that said P90X. I had no clue what it was. I opened it up and realized it was, there was like this man on the cover. So it looked like this, like, I don't know, muscle man fitness thing. I didn't know what it was, but my boys were both napping and I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do this workout. Like I just needed something. I popped it in. I did plyometrics. I don't know if you've ever done the plyometrics P90X workout, but it's crazy. And it was literally from my perspective, I can't say it was literally the hardest workout I've ever done. But in that moment, it felt like the hardest thing I'd ever done. And when I was done, I was just like, what just happened? Like I just moved around in this one spot in my living room and I am dripping in sweat and my legs are killing me. And I actually was brought to tears. Like it was such a, I don't know, I had to dig so deep, to get through that workout. And so then it kind of piqued my curiosity. So the next day I did another workout. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this program. So I did P90X by myself in my living room for 90 straight days when my boys napped or didn't nap. A lot of days when I see moms with their kids that they get up from the nap and they're holding the kid through the thing, that was me. That was totally me. Kids crawling around me and crying and messing up my workouts more than half the time. But what happened with that was it made me dig into this place that was like so that I didn't even know existed. So when I finished, it was something that was so hard and I accomplished it. And it wasn't just like the hardness of the workout. It was the hardness of sticking to something for the 90 days. And when I was done, I was in the best shape of my life. So I was like, oh my gosh, I love P90X. Had no clue what Beachbody was. So fast forward, I became a Beachbody coach. I found out what Beachbody was. I found out it was connected to P90X. I became a coach. And I found out about this thing called challenge groups because my coach was telling me to run some. And the beauty of the challenge group is hopefully what you've already gotten a glimpse of. It's the accountability, the support, the positivity, and just that someone else is there. And most of us are in the same boat. Most of us are women. I mean, if there's guys in the group, we love you too and we support you too. But, God, could I have used that when I was that mom of 3, home all day, every day, with kids just constantly on me and at me and nagging and crying. And, me seeing my husband walk in the door at 6:30 at night and all I had eaten was, some bites of leftover mac and cheese, and I was living on pots of coffee. And to have had this then, it would have been exactly what I needed. And so that's basically what the challenge group is. Like, we're here to share recipes with you. We're here to help you make your meal plans. We're here to do that whole piece. But all of that you could Google and you could find it. What you can't get is the community. You know, this Fit Fam, this support system of just lovely people, positive people, that actually care about you and read what you wrote and comment and, you know, are there through the good times or there through the bad times and really want to see you succeed. And what I want to see for you guys is what I've experienced with Beachbody is that you grow and you transform from the inside out. Because I was saying that in my live video quickly today in the group. You guys can change from a size 40 to a size 2. But if you don't change what's on the inside, you will go right back to a size 40 when times get tough. You know, when you have that family member pass or you go through something really hard, if you don't change who you are from the inside out and grow that strength from the inside, then, you know, all you did was change this. And you'll go back to those old habits in a tough time. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you guys, like, find that strength, find that beast that's in there. And I found that beast 90 days alone in my living room with Tony Horton. And we're here to give you guys that little push and you know, we give you the push, and then we also have that safety net of support when you do fall to put you back on your feet and be like, nope, you go ahead, do it again, try it again. Okay, so that was more than 5 minutes. I talk a lot, but that was my spiel. So who wants to go next, Jory? What do you think?
Sure. Okay, so my story, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so my story is, I mean, it kind of really all started about a year and a half ago, but just to kind of backtrack, I always kind of like Chrissy, I always kind of have been into working out, trying to eat healthy, going to the gym. I loved going to the gym. When I worked in Boston, you know, for years out of college, until I moved to the town I live now after I had my first. But when I worked in Boston, I would go to the gym probably every single day on my lunch break. I would do spin classes, Bootcamp classes. You know, I love doing all these classes. But the problem that I see now is that I would do those and then I would go buy this, you know, huge salad with tons of cheese on it. You know, I wasn't eating right. So I was doing the workouts, but I was missing something, and that was the eating component for me. But so then in 2012, I had my first child, and I think I tried to keep up going to the gym, you know, in the beginning, and then I did some spin classes, but then I think it just kind of dropped off. And then after I had him, it was just hard for me until I went back to work to go back to the gym. So I kind of struggled to take off the weight. I tried to get a personal trainer at the gym. It was really expensive, so I could only see her. I think I only saw her maybe once a week. So, I mean, it was great when I saw her, but then those other days, you know, I still needed the help. So I was just kind of struggling, I think, in between. And then, you know, I left my job. We moved south of Boston, and I decided to stay home. We were going to have more kids, so I decided to stay home. And then at that point, going to the gym for me it was just really hard. You know, I didn't really have any babysitters around here yet. We had just moved to town. And then we got pregnant again. So then I was pregnant with my second child, and this pregnancy, I kind of was just like, I'm not going to work out. And I really just didn't work out at all. I maybe went for some walks and stuff, but we always said we wanted like 3 or 4 kids. So in my head, I was thinking, well, whatever, I'm going to have another baby. So I don't really need to do anything. So I had my second child, and then in between my second and third, I didn't do much, and then got pregnant with my third. And then after I had Liam, my third, I was just kind of like, what's going on? Like, my husband and I were eating horribly. We were on this like downward spiral. I had gestational diabetes with my third, and I felt like I was just in a rut. And if I didn't do something to change it, it could just get really bad. And I actually look back at pictures now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. Like I feel like you don't even see it until you look back, just the kind of place you were in. So I had been following, Chrissy actually on Facebook. We had some mutual friends, and, she was just, all her workouts were so inspiring, and she just seemed so positive, and, it just seemed like something that I wanted to give a try. I thought maybe that could be the change I needed. I knew how to work out. I'd done T25 sort of in the past, but I never really did the challenge groups. I didn't really have a coach. Just kind of did it on my own. And, I had 2 kids, so I wasn't really putting a lot of effort into it. So I decided to go for it. I decided to also sign up as a coach. Just for that extra accountability. I wasn't sure where I was going to go with that, but, that actually, it ended up being, it's a really important part of my journey, I think. But that's another story. So I started with the 21-day fix. It was 6 weeks. I was 6 weeks postpartum, with my third child. I, jumped right in as soon as I got the okay from my doctor. I think I did 3 rounds and I lost like 30 pounds. So I ended up losing, all the baby weight and more. And then I moved on to 21-day fix extreme, hammer and chisel, and then I broke my leg. So last summer I broke my leg, and I was in a wheelchair. I think it was for 7 weeks. But so this is where the challenge groups played such an important part in my journey. I mean, without the support and motivation, I probably would have been like laying on the couch eating a tub of ice cream every day, just kind of like wallowing in my misery. But, I saw everyone and they were so positive. And, everyone has stuff happen. Maybe they don't break their leg, but, there's stuff happens that in everyone's life. And I could see that in the challenge groups and everyone sharing their struggles day to day. So it just motivated me, to get up and do something. I couldn't do much, but I was able to get up and do something, and I kept my eating on track. And it was so important for me to not just like call it quits and like have to start over from scratch. And I feel like I owe that all to, the challenge groups and my support group and, my teammates and everything. So that's one of the reasons why I think, being in one of these groups is so key for the community and, the motivation. And then, so after I recovered from my broken leg, I got right back in it. And I think it just made it easier that I never really stopped. And I started doing more programs. I did Core de Force. What else did I do? P90X3, 22-minute hardcore. And now I'm pregnant again. So now I feel like I kind of worked out in my first pregnancy, but then the other 2 I didn't. So I feel like this one, my goal is to just a fit pregnancy. And I'm really like depending on the challenge group and the support and the motivation and the community to kind of help me through that. And it already has, and it's been awesome. But I think without it, I'd feel kind of I'd be left to my own thoughts, and I'd probably just say, oh, I'm going to have that Oreo, which I do because, I'm pregnant. But I mean, I'm still working out, and I'm making healthier choices than I would if I didn't have that support group. So, I mean, there's so many reasons. Like Chrissy, I've done Weight Watchers in the past as well, and I love it. I love, I did lose weight, but I never went to meetings. I just kind of did it on my own, and I think I just kind of stopped doing it. I think that's where, I lost it. And I think I need that support group. I think it's a game changer. To just kind of like propel you forward and keep you going, inspire you, to kind of do your best. Like, especially those days where you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't want to work out. I just want to sit on the couch all day, watch TV and eat. And then you just, you're scrolling through Facebook and you get to your challenge group and you see all these sweaty selfies and like pictures of like healthy food and like, it kind of makes you feel guilty, but it kind of makes you feel like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Like what's going on in my life that, other people don't have going on in theirs too. So I just think it's such an important, like, it's the key, I feel like, to, staying on track and motivating yourself and, I don't know, just keeping with it and like pushing for the best that you can be on your journey. And I hope you guys find that too. I think that's it. Kim?
Yay. Thank you.
Hello.
You ready, Kimmy? Okay, she's ready.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. So, how I'm going to start. So I always struggled with diet. So before I came to United States, I probably weighted, 210 pounds, and I would go on diets on and off. And when I say diet, I would like basically starve. So I would just eat salads and I wouldn't eat probably meat. I would just eat tuna. So like those crazy diets that everybody does to try to lose weight. And then on the weekend, I would cheat like crazy. And then we'll go back again Monday and start over again. I did join the gym when I was in Portugal and I loved it. But I didn't have like a workout plan. Like I would just go in and do whatever I wanted and then I would be done. So I did lost the weight, but then I gained it all back. And then I came to United States 3 years ago. And I was very depressed with my family because I missed them a lot. And I would eat a lot. And I'm a closet eater. I'm right here. That's me. So like my husband will go to the bathroom and I will shove like 50 Oreos in my mouth and be like, I'm like, don't look at me. I would totally do that. Like, I would even give excuses and be like, oh, I need to go to Walmart and get something. And I would stop at drive-thru and Dunkin' Donuts and get donuts and coffee and all that stuff and eat it all and then put it on the trash outside so nobody would see that I ate the donuts. And it was terrible. So, and then I worked, I'm a hairdresser, but I am also a CNA. So every Monday I worked on Smithfield from 6 to 2. And every time I would go at 5:45 to the break room to put my lunch, my lunch, I would always see Autumn Calabrese, the 21-day fix on TV. Like the show that they tell you the befores and afters, and she's putting the containers in there. And I'm like, man, that's how I really want to do. Like, I want to be able to eat food and go out for dinner and know my choices, and I'm going to be able to eat and not starve. Then I went and I bought it, and then I pressed play and I'm like, oh, like I'm not going to do it. And then the next day I did it and then I couldn't do it, whatever. And I said, oh, I can't do this. This is at home. I'm not going to do it. And then at the salon, Christy, she started to coming and I did her eyebrows. So this girl would walk in all nice and I would be like, whoa, she walks like really nice. Like she's so fit. Like what the hell this girl does? So I was always like very curious to see what she does. And she's like, oh yeah, I do Shakeology, blah, blah, blah. And then I said to her, oh, I'm doing the 21-day fix. And she's like, oh, are you on the challenge group? And I said, like a challenge group. She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to put you in there and all that. And so she did put me on the challenge group. And I started seeing all these pictures about all these people posting. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's doing that. Like if she can do it, I can do it. So that's when I started pressing play every single day at my house. Now, the thing is, I lived in a studio and we didn't have any rooms. So the only room I had was my bedroom and the front door. So every time I would work out on the end of the day, my husband would make fun of me because he would be like, what the hell are you doing? So I would sacrifice myself waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work out right before I go to work, which I started at 9. And since then, I've been doing it every single day. Probably like a Sunday I wouldn't do, but I got so addicted that it made me feel so good working out every day. And the meal plan was so easy to follow. And I'm like, I can even have bread. I can have pasta. I can do like a cheat meal if I want to once a week and still enjoy and lose the weight and have the energy. And plus, like, I can easily be very depressed sometimes. And knowing that I was healthy and having an active life, it made me comfortable and happy, and I just felt amazing. So then I was just posting like crazy and participating on the challenge groups, and then Chrissy's like, oh my God, you should be a coach. Like, and I was like, a coach? Like, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not fit enough for a coach. And she's like, Kim, that's not only about that. Like, you can share your journey. People, like, and it's so true. Like, for you to be a coach, you don't need to be a fit person. You can just show people how possible it is to be healthy and lose weight and be happy. So I honestly went for a coach for myself. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to do it to like motivate myself. Maybe if I share my journey, like, I know I have to like show the results, and then I won't be able to cheat. So I did, and it was the best thing I ever did to me, was being a Beachbody coach. I couldn't imagine myself not being. I think if I was not one, I would probably quit or stopped doing it, because now I know I still have to do, because I know there's people watching me, there's people waiting for results, and I am helping so many people that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can even like realize, or sometimes I'm like, did I really, like, whoa, like, I talk to people and I'm like, oh my God, like, she's losing all that weight because I said to her to join in. And I just feel very happy helping others. So that's my story. I love being on the challenge group. I cannot imagine myself not being in one, especially on those days that I really don't want to work out. And then I log in, and then I see Gina all sweating. I'm like, oh my God, she's like working out. I'm going to work out today. And then I press play. Or like, I want to have junk food today, and then somebody posts a nice, beautiful salad with tons of food on it, or just, I'm like, oh, why am I like, I'm going to eat bad food if I can just have a nice, healthy, like, choice and not go and eat junk food, whatever. But I just feel like it's so helpful being in a challenge group, the support, accountability, knowing that even though I did not have enough support on the beginning, I had all the support that I needed on the challenge group, because especially when you're Portuguese and you're trying to be healthy and you go to Portuguese parties and everybody goes like, oh no, eat it, it's just today. Well, come on, you're gonna come to my house, you're not gonna eat? Like, what do you mean? Oh, and God forbid if they see me bring me food on my bag, 2 boiled eggs and green peppers, and be like, what the heck? So, but like, it's been a tough journey, but it's been really, 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 really cool. I have to only thank to Chrissy and all the people all the challengers on the group, because even though we are coaches and challenges in there, everybody helps each other, and it's so nice. I cannot imagine without it. So that's my spiel, how Chrissy says, for today.
I do say that. Oh, that was awesome, you girls. Thank you for sharing. So I think, we all have the same, it's like all different stories, but the same message, that if you, I know that at first it can be sometimes intimidating, or maybe a little scary to put yourself out there in the group, but just start small. Like, we get it that most of you are not going to be like, Sweaty's healthy, hi, welcome me to the group. I mean, we want that. We're like, hello. When you do that, we're like, yes. But just start by checking in. Like, really, it would be great if you could check in a couple times a day. But start with once a day and work your way up to like maybe early morning and before you go to bed. Check in, read what the posts are. We always have a morning check-in and a nightly check-in. So if you can check in, like, comment, go through a few posts, and just connect with someone in there and comment on their posts. That's it. That's a great start. And you'll work your way up to finding how it works best for you. But and then some other excuses I often hear, I don't mean excuses like they're not valid, but I know a lot of people sometimes are like, they don't want to get into Facebook because they get on Facebook and then they're all inundated with things. So all you need to do is, I do this too. I have challenge group time. Like, yes, it's in Facebook, but I don't go on Facebook. I open my Facebook, I go to groups, I go to August boot camp, I'm in the group, I scroll through, I see what's going on, I comment and like, I'm in there for 5-10 minutes, I get my nice fix and I'm out. So, you know, if you don't want to be on Facebook too much, don't be on Facebook. Get right into the group. So I don't know if you guys know that you can do that, but you can just go like on your homepage where you just see groups, you can click just right on the group and get in there and just be in the group and then be out. And then the last thing I want to make sure you guys all know is that, oh, 2 more things. Number 1 is that anything you post in the group, we have it set to completely private. So although you will see group posts in your newsfeed because you're a group member, it's not in anyone else's newsfeed. No one else can see what you post in the group. Okay, so we want you to know that. Then we also want you to know about the files section of the group. So if you're on your phone, it's when you're in the group, it's to the left, you click files. And if you're on your computer, it's right under the cover picture. There's a files tab. Wait, is it under the file? Is that where it is now still? Or is it in info? I think I'm right about that. So the files section has so many nice recipes. There's a whole file of 21-day fix approved recipes that Jory has in there with the container counts and all that. There's different meal plan options. So it's a great tool for you. And if you have something, if you make a meal plan or anything like that, and you can share it to the group as a document, and it will also go into the files. So anything that you find along the way, we'd love for you to share with us too. So this is recorded. I'm going to post it in the page for everybody to watch, and we are going to ask that all of you just share your own little background of your fitness journey and what your goals are for the month with us, so that we can all kind of get to know each other a little better. And we will have one more of these before the month is out. So probably about 10 to 14 days from now, we'll do another little powwow session. And hopefully you guys will be able to join us on their live. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing your stories with us tonight. And I think that's a wrap. So good night, everybody.